Close-knit family.
Close-knit family.
It's been one of those weeks.
Oh my goodness. We are a close-knit family. I am Sue.
I'm Michael.
And we are following Mike through his...
adventures in learning how to knit.
Yeah. Anyway, we're having fun. We hope you are too.
Yep.
Yeah, so, what's coming up this episode? We have, so what's new this week? And Mike's trip to the yarn store. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
as exciting as going to a yarn store can be.
well, it is for me.
Okay.
Yeah. You found some stuff in there you liked, but
yeah.
You know,
We'll get to that.
So then we have Sue's knitting this week and what Mike brings to the table. So yeah. All right. But first, a shout out to our friend Lori.
Lori!
Thanks for watching, Lori. We were partying with Lori on the weekend. No, you weren't there.
No, I wasn't.
I was dancing and partying with Lori on the weekend. And
wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was doing that. So, what's new this week?
Ooh.
One thing I thought would be good to mention is I did get a notification that the from the Knit City people that registration will be open on June 15th at 7 Pacific time.
PM?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 7 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dates for Knit City are September 29th to 30th.
Let's just zero in on our notes for a second.
Yeah. And yeah, I've got my room booked, and I know the ladies that I knit. I haven't been before, so I'm pretty excited about going to Knit City. My husband's not.
Yeah.
Excited about me going to Knit City.
Sounds a lot like what we gamers would call a con, which is short for convention, not con. Convention.
Yeah.
KnitCon.
KnitCon. Hey, we should do... Okay, anyway. Another total story for another day. Okay, so the other thing that's new this week, Mike finished his sampler thing.
Scarf. My thing. It's not really long enough to be a scarf, but anyway.
Okay, but let's
look at it. So, yeah, started out. Well, actually, when you last saw it, I was up to here, up to this seed stitch. Then I got some of this lace going.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, because I just sort of saw a little bit of the pattern and...
Peekaboo.
And,
Oh, we're sick. That's pathetic. But anyway, carry on.
I just thought that I was doing... I didn't realize I was supposed to be alternating between going knit two together, yarn over, and yarn over, knit two together.
Because that's how I wrote it.
Because that's how she wrote it. I didn't... and I didn't pick up on that minor difference. So these first couple rows, it does kind of show up there. You can see they're all slanted to this side. And then I figure out that what I'm supposed to be doing, and they straighten out. More or less.
But neither way is wrong.
Okay.
It's a question of what effect you want. Well, how it's designed.
Right.
By the designer and what they're hoping to achieve with that.
Yeah, and then I decided, I really just want to get going on my main project. So just a little bit of garter stitch to finish it off, and then I got to learn how to cast off, and then weave my ends in.
The casting off. So this is another, moment for Mom, because I'm sitting at home.
Or was that was on the other one?
Oh, was that? Okay, never mind.
That you'll see in a moment.
Okay. Anyway.
This one you were like sitting right next to me as we were doing, and then you showed me how to weave in, and yeah.
Oh, that's right. But I just told you what to do.
You told me what to do, and I was like, oh yeah,
right.
Okay, and just kind of went through it, and then I was like, okay, I have these great big tails. What do I do with my tails? Weave them in.
Yep.
And yeah. So I
So
know
yeah,
how.
so now I get to brag because he's my boy.
And
but
it's blocked.
and it's
now.
blocked. So isn't the I got my nails done this week. I'm very happy. Again, the tension. Ooh, the tension. Dun dun dun. Anyway, really nice tension, which I can't get over it. I think I've told Mike there are people who've been knitting for years and don't get nice tension, and we'll be looking even more at that when we do Mike's gauge swatch. Okay.
Because I got more yarn and I did a gauge swatch. But we'll talk about that in a moment.
And another thing that was new this week, what'd you find out about your friend from work?
Oh yeah, so my friend from work who I do my board gaming hobby with, he also knits, and he knows a little bit more than me regarding knitting. So I'm like, and he actually told me, anytime you want to just hang out and knit, I'm down. So
I want them both to come and knit with us on Tuesday nights when we go out.
Yeah, I haven't actually told him that yet. But
or even the library on. Oh, you work on Saturdays.
I generally work on Saturdays.
Never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, I'll be sure to pass that on next time I talk to him. So yeah, that was a cool thing for me.
Mike was saying they were doing a. So, what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, he seems to know a little bit more than me, a little bit less. I can't remember exactly. He knows how to switch yarns. I don't. I understand it is not hard, but I haven't done it yet. So and yeah, he apparently just mostly knits just garter stitch scarves. But yeah, it was kind of weird for me to learning this guy that I've known for years now.
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years knits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Never knew that. Anyway, and so that actually does bring me to what I was talking about before, my mind blown moment, which was so Saturday Mike's at work, and he works at a local radio station, and he goes in and he plays with computer stuff and and I guess really kills a lot of time when he's there.
Yeah. Depending on exactly what's happening, I tend to have 4 hours to kill.
Yeah. So I get a text from him, and it says, do I cast off on the front side or the back? And I was just like, what? You're at work and you took your knitting?
Well, yeah.
What did you say about it?
Well, it's the perfect way to kill time.
It's the perfect thing, he says. You take it, it's like the perfect thing. Yeah. You just take it everywhere.
Otherwise I'm bringing my Nintendo Switch and I'm playing something, or I could be knitting.
I think we got a keeper here. I think we got a keeper here. Just don't tell Brian you're doing that at work.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay.
So that made me think of something else, and it's gone. My mind's not blown. It's just empty all of a sudden. But anyway, so that brings us to Mike's trip to the yarn store.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, one day we were just like, I don't not doing anything else particular on this day, so go to the yarn store. Because I need to. So
you'd already said you wanted to start your tread hat.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's just joining us, Michael chose as his first pattern. He chose the Tread Hat by Shannon Cook. And so we headed off to the yarn store to get that done. Now, we recorded an amazing segment. Amazing with Camilla, who's the owner of A Twist of Yarn in Vernon. And she was great.
Good.
Tons of great information.
Lots of great information.
Only I hit the like take a picture button, not the record button. We need a video team or something to get this
like
recording stuff right. So I apologize to Camilla because it really was.
It was great.
Very good.
Thank you. We go over some of the information that she provided in brief, but yeah, it was great, the information she provided, and we pick up after me noticing that I don't think my phone was recording.
Oops.
Here we go.
Hi.
Okay.
So we just filmed this great bit with Camilla here at A Twist of Yarn, who was showing me a whole bunch of different wools that are available here, and we'll comment on each. And it wasn't recording.
That was my fault.
So yeah, basically we've narrowed it down to possibly one of these wools. I like these kind of blues. I'm thinking it's between one of these two. Yeah, it needs 142 yards of worsted weight chainette yarn. Now these aren't chainette, which is another thing we went over in that bit that we were recording. Yeah, so gosh.
Okay, so Mike, pull out the yarn that you're interested in,
okay.
And now we're gonna look at just one.
Okay,
we'll look at
one.
These are the same
Okay.
same kind of yarn. So we're
Okay,
gonna look at the label.
Yes. It says.
I can't read that.
What does it say?
It says.
What are we looking for?
200 meters per 100 grams. Oh,
Okay.
it came undone. Okay.
Yes, it came undone.
Okay.
50% acrylic.
So you said how many meters do you need?
130.
So, and that was 130 yards, which is a little bit more.
No, 130 meters. 142 yards.
Oh, okay. So this is certainly an adequate skein.
Yeah.
So one skein of something from here.
Yeah.
So just to sort of backtrack while Mike thinks about that for a minute. So we looked at some of these other yarns. There were these lovely variegated ones. But because of we don't want anything too multicolored because there's a bit of design in the hat itself. And we looked at all of these lovely ones. And then the chainette was over here. So chainette is almost like it's almost like it's a knitted yarn. But anyway, so those are some of the things that we looked at here. And you can see why I am in love with this store. Okay, so I'm going to come back around and find Mike. Sorry for any of you who are getting seasick while I walk. And has Mike made a decision?
I think it's this one.
That's the one.
I think it's this one. Yeah. 200 meters? Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I noticed on there was that the recommended needle size
is 4.5 millimeters.
But your pattern calls for
5 millimeters and 6 millimeters.
Okay. So
Just a mannequin falling over. Don't worry about it.
nothing that I didn't do. Something like that. Yeah. Oh, can I just mention, this is one of my most favoritist yarns ever. It is so soft and squishy.
Oh no. Oh,
anyway, this is what I made that sleeves thing out of.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, let's go look at needles for a sec. And we're off. Okay, so this isn't even the most overwhelming part.
5 millimeters USA, 5 millimeters USA.
5, and those are interchangeable. Yes. Now, I'm just looking at those, Mike. I'm wondering if there is, see how short they are?
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking right beside it by about 4 spaces there.
Over here?
Yeah, there's a number. There we go. Does that say number 5?
US 8, 5 millimeter. Yeah.
Okay. So that one would be good.
Yeah.
Because it's easier. The short ones are harder to hold. They're great for doing like socks and small projects.
Yeah, but they're harder to hold.
Now, you're going to need a cord
Okay.
for that. So that's why we love the interchangeable cords. Does it give you a cord length?
16-inch or 32-inch circular for Magic Loop. I don't know what Magic Loop is.
That's okay.
So 16-inch.
So that claims to be 16. That does not look like a 16-inch. But I guess when you combine it with the length of the needles.
Yeah. That looks to be about right.
Okay. Well, we'll grab that.
Yeah, grab these.
And then I need another cord. And I want a 32. Okay. So you have needles, and the other needle size you needed was a 6.
6 millimeter.
And we have that at home.
You have. Okay.
And I apologize again to anyone who's getting seasick watching the videos, because I completely understand. That's kind of what happens.
Anyway, we just wanted to stop that partway through
because I was completely wrong about the needle thing. So I was going, no, get the bigger needles, because the little ones are too hard to work with. But as we went to pay for our needles, Katie was like, well, the big ones aren't going to fit in the 16-inch. So so when you're knitting on a really small cord,
yes,
smaller needles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I know that. But having said that, there I was saying, oh, don't worry, because I've got the size 6s at home.
Right.
But my size 6s are the bigger ones.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Oh no.
So I don't know if that's going to work. We'll have to see. But the other thing, Mike knit his gauge swatch on the needles, the short little needles, and went back and forth and did, even though I did, okay. Because he's going to be knitting in the round, his gauge swatch should have been done in the round. But I was just kind of going, let's not worry about that too much right now. Mm-hmm. So he found that kind of hard.
Yeah, it's very well. Here, let me grab my needles, because this is what I'm working with. Here, black cord against the white of my face.
Sorry, was something from Mexico.
Maybe I just edited something out. We'll find out in a moment.
No, I'm sure he left it, because I would never do anything wrong.
Yeah, so this is very, very short and fiddly, and
he's finding that kind of awkward. So anyway, long story short, or not, I don't know. When he switches to the bigger needles, if it's not going around well, then I'll get him on a bigger cord and we'll do Magic Loop, which we sort of very briefly talked about in the video. But if that happens, we'll talk about it when that happens.
Yeah, and back to Twist of Yarn.
And so last week I talked about the tilted cowl, and here's another one with some different colors. It's a beautiful, beautiful cowl. And this is the Color Adventures yarn, which is dyed right here at a Twist of Yarn. And it's just beautiful yarn. Some of my favorites. I especially like this tweed look. I love that. Oh, look at this one. Oh my goodness, you can't tell from the picture. It's a rich, dark purple. Okay.
What?
I know. Well, I haven't seen this before either, but it looks like it kind of works like a sock blank.
And we're back!
And what is a sock blank?
That was Mike's question. What the heck is a sock blank? And I didn't know for the longest time. I heard people talking about, I keep touching my face, sorry, but I'm itchy.
Oh, I do it all the time too.
Actually, I think I have a fuzzy on my nose. Anyway,
You're good.
Sock blanks.
Fuzzy on your glasses.
Oh,
though.
see, I knew there was something there. So, yeah, I'd hear people talking about sock blanks all the time, and I had no idea what they were talking about. So, then I found out. A sock blank is, so it's like, this is not a sock blank. It's purely here for demonstration purposes.
Okay.
So a sock blank is something that's knit up.
Think about.
Oh my.
Okay.
And when the dyers, the hand dyers, will go along and they'll take this thing that's already knit up, and they'll usually, like for a striping yarn, so they'll dye like a section, one color, and then a section another color, and a section another color, so that when the yarn comes off of the sock blank and you start knitting it into, say, a pair of socks, you're going to get stripes of color. Yeah. But some people do really funky things with sock blanks. They paint beautiful pictures and murals and stuff on them, and who wants to take that apart and knit with it? But it's what you're supposed to do. Anyway, so what we just saw, that little
Weird.
I keep trying to call it a yarn, but it's
a chain.
It's like it's pre-knit yarn, and I'm thinking that it was sort of like a sock blank, because they had the one strand pulled out on the. I didn't get to ask about it, and if I find out different, I'll let you know. But yeah, and it was I can't remember because it was a few days ago, but I think it was like had striped sections in it.
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
it did.
So I'm thinking it's like a self-striping kind of a sock blank thing.
Possibly, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And back to
Back
whatever
to-
I had left in Twist of Yarn.
Yeah.
So, home from the yarn store.
Hi. Seeing how much of this I remember.
What you doing?
Just trying to cut the things off my yarn. These little ties. And also trying to find the start. Which appears to be right. Appears to be here.
So, what kind of yarn did you end up getting there, Mike?
What kind of yarn did I end up getting? I don't know. It is like.
What's it called? It's called Estelle?
Estelle Worsted Quality Hand Knitting Yarn. It is a.
Who's it by?
Estelle.
Can I see it? Oh, okay. So this is the yarn he chose. And the color he's got there is kind of a teal green. It was really cool when we were out in the natural light of the car just to see all the color play within the yarn. It goes from really quite a, what's the word, a turquoisey blue.
Yeah.
Into the greens.
Feed it through here. That's not the way you do that. Michael figures out. There we go. Okay, and then onto here.
And he's off. This is the second ball of yarn that Michael has caked. And away he goes. And the finished cake.
Uh-oh. Which way is...
Oh. Okay,
there we go.
so
Got
now the ever popular debate. Are you going to pull from the center or from the outside?
That's a debate?
That's a total debate.
Don't you always pull from the inside?
Well,
Or have you given me bias, mother?
Maybe. Yeah, the other thing, whoops. Oh, shoot. I didn't get to you soon enough.
Oh.
I like to try to stick this into the center of the cake so I know what the yarn was, but that's okay. That's all right. So there we go. Mike's cake ready to make his trout hat.
Only a little bit hanging out.
How exciting was that?
Very.
Okay. And that brings us to the age-old debate, to pull from the center or from the outside. So, you heard Mike say...
Is that even a debate?
Because Mom has always said you always pull from the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met people who don't pull from the middle. I was very confused.
Doesn't it roll all over the place? Doesn't it?
Well, the thing is, I was always told if you pull from the outside that it gets all tangled.
Right.
But then these people are like, oh my God, yeah, if you pull from the inside, you end up with yarn barf.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was like, oh, I thought that happened when you pulled from the outside. So, what do you think?
What do you do? Tell us in the comments below.
Pull from the inside or pull from the outside? Now, I have to admit, I found that we're working with the Pima cotton on that thing I'm working on. I was looking at it and I was thinking, yeah, that ball's going to collapse really fast if I'm pulling from the inside.
Yeah.
So I tried pulling from the outside and it worked okay. And I guess, that's what yarn bowls and stuff are for, but I keep mine in a little bag so that when I pull it out, the ball doesn't run around all over the place.
Yeah.
And
even for me, knitting my sampler scarf, I was pulling from the inside, and near the end of it, the ball was just becoming less and less of a ball, and more just an amalgamation of yarn.
Yarn barf.
Yarn barf, yeah. Although when I imagine yarn barf, I imagine like you pull on it and you get a great big.
Well, you've seen me fight with yarn barf.
Oh yeah. Now for this, for my tread, I'm pulling from the outside.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Okay. So gauge swatch.
Gauge swatch. I managed to get a gauge swatch done this week. Here it is, and it is so unbelievably soft. I cannot.
It is. It's very nice, and I don't know. No, you can't see with all this light. Yeah, and that's not going to help. The color is absolutely gorgeous, and it's heathered. Yeah, it's got a beautiful heathering to it. I love this color. Anyway, so Mike did up his gauge swatch, and then I told him how to get it washed and blocked, because you have to wash and block before you measure your gauge.
Yeah.
He didn't do it, and I was leaving town, so I quickly did it for him. But I never had a chance before I left and came back yesterday and today that I never had a chance to measure it and to do the gauge.
And so this is me learning too.
This is Mike learning how to tell his gauge.
So
it's over 4 inches, right?
Over 4 inches.
All right.
And stocking stitch on the larger needles.
Okay, so Mike knit his gauge swatch on the smaller needles, and I actually just asked him about that a little while ago. That's why we kind of went, oh.
Anyway.
So do you remember how many stitches you did? How many did you cast on?
Cast on 28.
28.
4 garter stitch on either side, so 20 stitches.
So on the smaller needles, you've got exactly 4 inches across there.
Okay.
for 20, what did you say? What did you say? For 20 stitches.
20 stitches on the smaller needles, I got 4 inches.
And what did you need for your gauge?
It's
No, for your gauge. Yeah, what is it? What was it?
It's
16. So definitely needs a larger needle.
Yeah.
And then going this way.
I did 26 rows.
Okay, and this looks like maybe 27 and a bit. And again, your gauge would have been
25.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
whoops.
We'll be doing the gauge swatch again.
Maybe next week I'll have it cast on. Have the actual
on larger needles, because we're gonna read the pattern.
Whoops.
Okay.
You said
lesson learned, right?
Gosh,
it's a good lesson learned. Because that's the other thing is if I was sitting down to do gauge swatch, I would totally I would go hog wild and do it in stocking stitch, and I'm sure I would have checked to see which needles because I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look back and it's like, oh, in garter stitch. Crap. Gonna do it again. So you always have to check what needle size and what stitch are they measuring, because sometimes it's in pattern. Okay, so now my knitting. I frogged my, what's this thing called again?
Graphite tank.
Graphite tank. It's called a graphite tank. So this is what I'm working on, again, for those of you who are new. And I frogged it. This is where he's supposed to say, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Good job. So for those of you who don't understand all the fun knitting terms, frogging is when you rip it out and reball it and go to start again. So I got to almost that third row of the fan pattern finished, and I held it up to my own self, and I decided that it was just really going to be too big. And it's hard for me because I am a bigger girl, and so I have to make sure that things are going to fit, be big enough. I don't want them to be too tight, but I also don't want them to be so big that they're like a moo-moo. So I have started again, and I am almost at the end of the first color fan section. And since things, oh crap, and I'm dropping stitches. Since things in my world have calmed down some in the last week, yay! I should probably get a lot done on this this week. So, yeah, that is where my stuff is at. And so I went one size smaller. I might regret that, but we'll see. When I get to sort of the same place, so when it's about this deep, I'll put some longer cords on again and just see sort of how big it is. And so back to not the sock blank. So in our video, I mentioned that Cascade Eco yarn that I love so much, and this is a shrug that I made. Crap, what was it? Skra, S-K-R-A is what it's called. Bolero, and anyway, so yeah, that's what I made. I call it that sleeve thing because it literally is 2 sleeves that are joined. So it's like 2 tubes, and then you open them up and knit flat. So, but oh my God, it's so soft.
Very soft.
Oh, I love this yarn. It's fabulous. So that is that. And we looked at the tilted cowl again in the store. I showed my tilted cowl last week. And we looked at that again in the store, and another friend just finished one again. And he's... Excuse A little something off the yarn. Anyway, I was thinking that maybe when you finish your hat, maybe we'll do a tilted cowl and we'll do a little knit along. Doing and who what sweater freaks? Knit tilted cowl on Ravelry. Love it. The thing I think I love most about it is that there's lots of variety of design, so it keeps you going. And you've got 3 colors. You can do solids, you can do something speckled or variegated, and a couple solids. But because you've got all that color choice and variety in there, like if you pick colors that are kind of in your wardrobe, you'll have to give. Well, I don't know. You might want to wear yours. Pick color. Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Black, white, and gray or something under your coat in the wintertime.
Sure.
Anyway, if you pick colors that are kind of in your wardrobe, then it's going to go with like tons of stuff. So that was just a thought that I had. We'll talk about it. But I think that would be a neat idea because you can do all the stitches
Okay.
in a tilted cowl.
Okay.
And I think you would enjoy it.
Okay.
All right. So now I guess we're at what Mike brings to the table.
Hi. So I bring to the table a game that I have to be honest, I wasn't sold on it at first. But it's
Me either, honestly.
It's very quickly become a regular at all of our board game nights. It is the Top Secret Word Game. Codenames. There you go. Yeah, it's a strange sort of word association game. You divide up into 2 teams, and then each team nominates a spy master. And both spy masters have they sit on one end of the table together, and they have in front of them a map of.
But to sum up,
Okay.
not that we don't want to hear every detail about it. I love Mike. And Mike wants you to love every detail about it too. But we don't need to know
Okay. Anyway.
every single. So let's start.
It's a word association game.
Let's start with the 2 to 8 players.
Yes, 2 to 8 players.
10 and up. About 15 minutes to play. Yeah, about 15 minutes to play.
Depending on how much your spy masters think.
So yeah, 2 teams, and it's kind of like Password.
Yeah.
Anyone who remembers the old Password game. So saying a word and trying to get other people to know what word you're thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it goes. And they couch it all with, spies and double agents and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's simply, it's kind of like a Password game.
Kind of, yeah.
And it's team played, and there's assassins and
innocent bystanders.
Yeah, it's quite fun.
Yeah,
I know when I first saw it, I was like, really?
Yeah.
And but we started playing it, and yeah, like you say, the group of people who we regularly play board games with, this is one of the favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're playing with, age 18 through like late 50s age range. So very, very good game. Lots of fun.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
It's okay. I need someone to cut me off sometimes.
Mike is very, very detail oriented, which is why I thought he would enjoy knitting, because you got all the details. And when I asked him about it, he said, well, I've always enjoyed watching sort of how it all happens when I'm knitting. So that is a neat thing.
Yeah.
And so I think we can stop now.
I think so. This is probably going to be a longer episode with everything. But
yeah. So thank you so much for joining us, either your first time or your repeat time. And we'll say bye, Lori.
Bye, Lori.
Thanks for watching. So yeah, tell us what your thoughts are on the center pull or pulling from the outside. Make your comment below. And of course, please like our video. Okay, I'm not going to make you lie, so if you don't, you know, you don't. Comment and subscribe, and you can share it if you want.
And next to the subscribe button is that little bell icon. If you click that, then you get sent an email every time we upload a video.
And so you won't miss anything. You'll be the first one to get all this amazing, dramatic information.
Absolutely.
That, you know, you don't want to miss it.
Nope.
So, all right. Love you. Sorry, I always say that. I can't help it.
Share the love.
And
keep your knitting close and your family closer.
Bye.